All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about Site Reliability Engineering, or SRE. And look, this is so much more than just another job title or a fancy new tool. It's a whole new way of thinking. It's a mindset, really. A powerful way to look at how systems work, how they break, and most importantly, how we can make them stronger. So, to really get to the heart of this, let's start with the one question everybody asks when things go sideways. You know the scene. A massive, messy outage hits. The site's down. Customers are furious. And the first thing everyone wants to know is, whose fault is this? Who is responsible? I mean, picture it. The back-end database starts locking up. So the front end, which depends on it, just slows to an absolute crawl. Your monitoring system is firing off alerts, but they're late to the party. And finally, the load balancer just gives up, throwing its hands in the air and handing out error messages to anyone who asks. And somewhere in all that chaos, a real customer, just trying to do something simple, gets frustrated and just leaves. That's a lost sale. So, who's to blame? Well, here's the big twist. The SRE mindset tells us that's the completely wrong question to be asking. It's not about who. The real issue is a breakdown in how the entire system is understood and managed. The problem isn't a person. It's the lack of a reliability mindset in the first place. And this really lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you've got that old school transactional mindset. It's all reactive. Monitor everything, try to keep it all up 24/7, which is basically impossible, and just play whack-a-mole with support tickets. But the SRE mindset, it flips the script. It's about measuring reliability from your customer's point of view. It's about aiming for the right level of reliability, not some mythical 100%. And it's about proactively creating feedback loops so you're always learning. And that's really the key, isn't it? Switching to this way of thinking is a conscious choice. You have to, as this quote says, own your mindset and realize only you can change it. It's a personal decision to stop pointing fingers and start looking for ways to improve the whole system. And if you want to see just how powerful this is, check this out. The British cycling team went from being pretty average to winning 178 world championships. They didn't do it with one giant magical change. They did it through what they called the aggregation of marginal gains. We're talking tiny 1% improvements everywhere. The ergonomics of the bike seats, the grip on the tires, even teaching riders a better way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. That right there is the SRE philosophy. Small, constant improvements that add up to something incredible. Okay, so you've got the mindset. You're bought in. But where do you actually start? How does this philosophy turn into actual work? Well, that brings us to our next section, which gives us a practical map for this journey. It's called the Dickerson hierarchy of reliability. You can think of it like a pyramid. You can't just skip to the top. You have to build a solid foundation first. It gives us a clear, step-by-step way to think about our work and build resilient systems from the ground up. So let's start at the very bottom, the foundation of everything, level 1. And that foundation is monitoring and observability. Why is this first? Because without good objective data, every conversation about reliability is just based on feelings. The site feels slow today. Well, it seems fine to me. No, monitoring gives you the source of truth, so you can have real discussions based on facts, not anecdotes. It is absolutely the bedrock. All right, so once you have that data, you're ready to climb to the next level of the hierarchy. Level 2, incident response. Look, outages are gonna happen. In complex systems, they're inevitable. The real question is, how do you deal with them? Is it a hair on fire, all hands on deck panic every single time? Or is it a calm, practiced, planned response where you know exactly what to do? This level is all about building that calm, sustainable process. Okay, now we get to my favorite level. Seriously, this is where the real magic happens. Level 3 is the post-incident review. An outage by itself is just a loss. You lose money, you lose customer trust, you lose time, but the post-incident review, that's the counterspell. It is the mechanism that allows you to learn from that failure and pull real, actual value out of it. It's not just a what broke list, it's a deep learning opportunity for the entire company. But here's the thing, you can have the best framework, the best tools in the world, but if you don't have the right culture, none of it matters. SRE will just fizzle out. This is all about shifting from being constant firefighters to becoming true partners. Most SRE teams go through this kind of evolution. You start as firefighters just trying to keep the lights on. Then a lot of teams become gatekeepers, where they try to control every single change to production to stop the fires. If they keep growing, they become advocates, teaching others about best practices. But the ultimate goal, the final form, is to be a partner, working with developers from day one to build reliability right into the product itself. And I gotta warn you, that gatekeeper stage is a dangerous trap. It feels safe, controlling everything. But it's a fantastic way to create an us versus them mentality, kill collaboration, and have your whole SRE initiative just wither on the vine. People will just start working around you. So what does a healthy SRE culture look like? Well, it looks like this. It's built on blameless postmortems, where you look at the system, not the person. It's constantly creating and nurturing feedback loops. It's obsessive about getting rid of toil. That's all the manual, repetitive work that adds no lasting value. And maybe most importantly, it's a place where asking for help is seen as a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, if this whole deep dive has you fired up and you're thinking about how to bring this mindset to your own work, you might be wondering, okay, what's next? So let's make this super practical and look at some great places to start your learning journey. So where do you go to get plugged into this whole conversation and really level up your knowledge? Okay, the place to start for sure are the 2 original Google books that really kicked this whole thing off. Then, to get some different perspectives, grab a copy of Seeking SRE. If you want to connect with the community, SRECon is the conference to go to. And here's the best part. You can watch tons of amazing talks from past SRECons for free on YouTube. Pro tip, start a little club at work, watch a session together, and then talk about it. It's a great way to learn. So let's wrap this all up. Site reliability engineering isn't just about running servers better. It's a cultural practice. It's all about systems thinking, a deep commitment to continuous improvement, and it's powered by this fundamental belief that every single failure is a gift, an opportunity to learn and get better. And I want to leave you with one last question, a real mind bender that kind of flips this whole thing on its head. We spend so much energy trying to find the root cause of our failures. But think about this. The day before your last big outage, when everything was running perfectly fine, what was the root cause of that? What was the root cause of your success? Just think about that for a bit.